Hey guys, it's you, Dad. And before we start the video proper, I do have to tell you that sadly this video it's not finished. For reasons I will explain later in this video. I don't want to say I gave up on the project, but I kept hitting so many roadblocks that I felt like I couldn't complete it. So for the time being, this is not the completed Skyrim Todd versus Mod. This is all I am doing for the time being. Titan, I am sorry. However, there is still a video here for you to watch. I was able to still script out and edit together probably the first fourth, third, maybe half of what the video was going to be, so that you can watch it and you can enjoy it. And then whenever that's over, we're going to talk about, why I had to stop working on this video, and also just my concluding thoughts on the matter, because I do think I still have something to say on the matter, even if I won't be able to get it out in my traditional video format. Also, you'll notice this is a completely different background than I've ever used. I'm currently house sitting for some people, so that's why I don't have the headband, but I got the eye patch though. I look more like Snake Plissken than Solid Snake, but beggars can't be choosers. Anyways, on with the video.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second episode in our series, Skyrim Todd vs. Mod. Last time, I began trying to find the answer to the question of whether Skyrim Civil War questline is good enough on its own, or if it can be made significantly better through the use of mods. In the first video, I finished a vanilla playthrough on the side of the Stormcloaks. By the end of the video, I decided that the base game questline was fine, but it did feel lacking in some significant ways. A sense of scale was the biggest thing missing. And while there were large citywide battles at Whiterun and Solitude, every other battle felt like a low-stakes skirmish. The world of Skyrim also didn't give the feeling of being in the middle of a war. Everyone went about their everyday lives, and rarely did I run into anyone from either army. There were no patrols or quick guerrilla hit-and-run attacks, and no random encounters related to the war. Now I know it sounds like I'm asking for too much, but just think about how many other random encounters are in the game. Plus, like I said last time, the Civil War is the very first aspect of Skyrim that you are introduced to. So I don't think asking for a tad bit more is too much. Now, I do have to give credit where credit is due. The base game questline is perfectly serviceable. The whole battles are spectacular, and my only complaint is that there aren't enough of them. Also, there are a lot of NPCs who have very strong opinions on the Civil War. Many also have small quests attached, like the Greymanes and Battleborns of Whiterun. The writing and dialogue are also pretty decent, all things considered. But even accounting for all of this, I found myself wanting more. Like there was just a few small elements that were missing. So that is where we find ourselves today. And thankfully, mods are a thing. Ever since the release of Skyrim Special Edition, mods have been made readily available for console players as well as PC. So, can mods make Skyrim Civil War questline better? Well, the short answer is yes, at least at a surface level. Obviously, anytime you add to something, there's a pretty good chance it's going to improve, at least in a small way. But then what is the point of this video if basic logic gives you the answer? Well, I tried last time to be very precise with my wording. Sure, the Skyrim Civil War can be made better, but can it be made significantly and noticeably better? What I mean by that is, can the mods I use provide an experience that is so much better than the base version of the game that I would say it is the definitive way to play? So, with all of that introduction out of the way, let's get into the video proper. But first, let's discuss mods for a bit. Now, if you have no clue what mods are, I need you to stop touching grass and come inside for a moment. Mods are community-created modifications to Skyrim that can do as little as change the way a certain item looks, all the way up to rewriting how the game's progression system works. Mods are insane, and Skyrim is the flagship of video game modding. With the console ports of Special Edition, Bethesda even lets you interact directly with mods in an easy and simple to use system. There are so many different mods that the only problem you'll face is choosing from the myriad of different ones. Unless you're a PlayStation player, in which case your problem is going to be finding a decent mod after Daddy Sony stopped the community from having fun. Seriously, there are like so few mods available for PlayStation Skyrim. Just another reason why Microsoft is better. There's nothing PlayStation has that we don't. Okay, I get the point, that's enough of that. Anyways, the point is you can do just about anything with mods. I mean, just look at my very first video, #shameless plug. That's part of the reason why I chose to base my character off of Guts for these past videos. And with that being said, let me talk about those Berserk mods. Now, this mod that I found adds in new races at character creation, which are pre-made characters from Berserk. So now I have a perfect 3D recreation of Guts. It's even better than the 2016 anime. Okay, can I cross that off the list of Berserk jokes? Honestly though, that anime wasn't that bad. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. I also found a mod that completely overhauls the animations for greatswords. Now my character holds his blade differently, and the power attack animations are closer to what you see in the anime and manga. I bring all of this up to prove a point. Mods can do anything. So the right ones will definitely make your game better. But mods can come with problems of their own. Since they're made by the community at large, there's really no regulating mods. They might interfere with each other if you have two mods that do similar things, or having too much extra code can cause the game to crash or get corrupted. For example, the previously mentioned character mod would often crash on me, and I had to deal with a lot of lagging and frame rate drops. This happened to me numerous times, so I had to start a couple different playthroughs with different mod orders.
Hey, you! Finally awake.
Let me tell you, this was not fun to deal with, and was part of the reason why it took so long for me to get this second part out. Mods are not fun when they don't work. Even now, I'm left with a game that crashes every time I try to equip an Imperial Cuirass. Do you see the problem here? Thankfully, you can overcome most of these problems by just uninstalling mods you don't need or want, and being smart with the ones you do combine. I'll try to put a list of mods in the description of this video, but I mean, come on guys, let's be honest, I never end up adding them. But I will try to leave a list down below so you can see what I used, and you can use what you like. Getting into the game proper, you'll probably notice that a few things are different. Namely, the character's armor and the lighting. This is all thanks to the first major mod I want to discuss, the Old Kingdom. This is a pretty popular series of mods that change numerous visuals throughout Skyrim, namely providing more realistic lighting and armor that actually has sleeves. You know, in the frozen tundra that is Skyrim. Anyways, in addition to changing the way most weapons and armor look, it adds some new weapons and armor to each of the Civil War factions, which can then be crafted with the steel smithing perk. The biggest plus for this mod is the more diverse looking armor between the two factions. When both the Empire and the Stormcloaks realistically only use two different outfits, the visual change is nice.
Empire loves their damn lists.
Captain, what should we do? He's not on the list.
Forget the list. He goes to the block.
So that was a lie.
So I make my character, Alduin shows up to create the plot, and...
Hey, you! Get up!
Wait, when the heck did you have time to change your armor? Anyways, like I said, this time I'll be going down the Imperial route. See why that armor glitch I mentioned earlier is such a problem? We make it out of Helgen, and I ask Hadvar about the Legion, and then I decide to deal with Whiterun's dragon problem just so that it doesn't become an issue later. This is probably also a good time to talk about another mod I really like. Now this mod adds in large army patrols throughout the entire map. These are typically garrisons of either Stormcloak or Imperial soldiers, with various different troop types, including archers and battle mages. The Legion is also far more diverse, sporting orcs and elves in their ranks, selling the illusion that this is indeed a continent-spanning empire. The best part is that when opposing patrols cross paths, a small-scale battle breaks out. This is exactly the type of world interactions I wanted to see last time. It's so cool to be roaming the landscape only to happen upon a small skirmish, where not everyone is going to survive. Sometimes including me. Getting involved in these skirmishes went a long way to make me feel like I was fighting in a war. The only issue worth noting is that on certain occasions I would have frame rate drops and slowdowns when too many people were on screen fighting together. It didn't happen much, but it's another example of mods bringing their own problems to the table. Upon reaching Solitude, we talked to General Tullius, who sends us to talk with Legate Rika. Legate Rika. No, not Legate Rika. Legate Rika. She tells us that she's going to forego the usual enlisting process and tells us to go clear out a fort of bandits. This is a much more fitting challenge for, joining an army, but I do have to say there is something charmingly Nordic about going to a deserted island in the middle of the ocean and killing an ice wraith. With that out of the way, the next few missions are virtually identical to the Stormcloaks. First, with us going to Corvinjung to claim the Jagged Crown.
Good to see you, my friend. I knew you'd make a proper legionnaire. I'm glad you'll be with me in there. I don't like the looks of this place. And I'm not talking about the Stormcloaks.
Once again, we fight through and kill the Draugr Lord with the crown. He is also just as easy to beat this time. I put on the crown like every sensible Skyrim player before taking it back to Tullius. A complaint I had last time was that Ulfric won't wear the crown after I bring it to him. This has been rectified by a simple mod that lets the corresponding faction leader wear the crown once it's been brought to them. I cannot express how much better I think this is, even if the model does look a little off on Queen Elisif.
So how you like that? I still got it when it comes to editing. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why could I not finish this video? Well, let me tell you what happened. So like I talked about in the video proper, mods are very delicate things. In fact, I have actually completely busted my copy of Skyrim before. I got to the point where I installed so many mods that did so many different things, it basically perma-broke my game. Even after I had completely uninstalled every single mod, I still was left with vanilla playthroughs that would crash after 5 minutes. I had to completely wipe the game, start over from scratch in order to get it to work, and that's what I have today. So I am no stranger when it comes to problems with mods. And that is exactly what happened. I had problems with these mods. Like I said, I've probably tried at least 6 or 7 different playthroughs of this modded Civil War. None of them worked. There was always something that made it completely broken and unplayable. I thought I had it. I thought I had figured it out. I had gotten rid of every mod that was not necessary, that I didn't think would actually, that I wanted to talk about. Because there are a couple mods I found that I was like, okay, new weapons, that is just something I always do for myself, and it's not something that will actually affect the Civil War. So what had happened was, after delivering the Jagged Crown, the next thing you do is you go to Whiterun to try and get Ulfric to join your cause. So when I arrived there, however, I told Ulfric what was going on. I explained to him that... Hang on. I realized I've been saying Ulfric and not Balgruuf, Jarl Balgruuf. My boy. So you get to Whiterun, where Jarl Balgruuf is, and tell him that Ulfric is going to attack. So the problem with what happened, and I'll probably have a video up on screen, I don't know if it will have the actual glitch or not, but I would enter dialogue with Balgruuf, and he would tell me to take his axe to Ulfric in order to issue a challenge. This is the reverse of what happens in the Stormcloak playthrough of the game. The problem is when he gives me the axe, the game would effectively softlock because I would still be in dialogue with him, but I would have no options to choose from, and all of my button inputs would not work. I couldn't hit the back button, I couldn't hit the accept button. I was stuck in a dialogue window and could literally do nothing. And so because of that, I couldn't continue on in the quest. I tried reloading, I tried like leaving the room, coming back. I tried a bunch of different things to try and get this to work, but it did not work. And so I made the call. I said, you know what? I'm not having a whole lot of fun making this video anymore. So I decided to just call it quits and put out what I have and then talk about my concluding thoughts. Real quick, I do want to say sorry specifically to MK Titan. I know you asked me to make these videos, and I know that you're not going to care too much that, I didn't finish it. I mean, I still technically gave you 2 videos, but they're not what I wanted to give you. Trust me, I put a lot of time into these videos, and it just wasn't happening. And I lost all passion for this project a while ago. I was making it out of obligation. An obligation I realized really wasn't even there in the first place, but I still wanted to make something. And I just kept losing steam, and it kept pushing other projects I wanted to work on back. I can't remember if I said it before, I have not ever monetized the channel. It's just a hobby I do for fun. So I don't feel like I have any literal obligation to you guys, although I do still want to give you the best thing I can. But today I just decided, you know what, no. Todd wins. I cannot do a modded playthrough of this game right now. Okay, now, with that being said, I still do have some thoughts on the matter. First off, like I said in the video, and I forgot how many times I said it in the video, mods are such a delicate beast. They can mess everything up if you don't get it right. I'm assuming that's what happened to break my game. I mean, I know it's Bethesda, they're notoriously buggy games, but I'm guessing it was some combination of mods that messed it up. And I was not about to sit there and cycle through everything to try and figure out what the issue was. However, some of the mods that you didn't see in the video I have used before, and I wanted to talk about one of them in particular. So the biggest mod I was going to show off is the mod I think is it's it. If you only got one Civil War mod, this would be it. And it's called Skyrim Open Civil War. And what it does is it actually reintroduces a lot of cut aspects from the original version of the Civil War questline. I think I said in the last video, a lot of stuff from the Skyrim Civil War ended up getting cut. And what this mod does is actually reintroduces a lot of that. And some of the things it reintroduces are hold battles for, I don't know about every major city, but I know at least there's more hold battles. I know one time when I used the mod before, I fought in a siege at Markarth. Y'all, that is not in the base game, and it was so cool getting able to play through another city siege that wasn't Whiterun or Solitude. It added so much to the game. There's also something, I don't know if this was part of the original Skyrim game, but it was in the mod. What it did is it actually made it where you could lose battles, and there was more of a strategic element to it. Basically what you could do is you could assign troops to particular regions or holds in Skyrim, and then the enemy would also launch counterattacks against that. It was nothing that you were physically there for, but it was oh, this is happening. And you could lose those battles and then therefore lose the holds. You'd have to go back and retake it. It's really interesting. When I had the mod before, I didn't play around with it a ton just because that's not usually my playstyle. But it's there, the option is there, and it was actually a pretty robust system from what I'm remembering. Yeah, again, that mod is called Open Civil War Skyrim, and I highly would recommend it. However, with that being said, let me talk properly about my concluding thoughts on the matter. Do I think that a modded playthrough of Skyrim Civil War can be made substantially better than the base game? Well, it depends on the mods you use, and I know that's a cop-out answer. But I would say, with Open Civil War, yes, absolutely. It even reintroduces script. There's it's not, Skyrim doesn't have cutscenes, but there's scripted events in Skyrim. There's one where after you win the Markarth siege, Galmar will actually execute the Thalmor agent who's walking around Markarth Keep. There's dialogue, there's animations, there's everything. And that's not something in the base game, but is added back through a mod. So yeah, it's better. And also the other mods like the Civil War patrols, really improved. You know, for me, that was exactly what I wanted, so it worked. Also, did I talk about refugee camps? I can't remember now because I haven't finished editing the other video, but I did add a mod that put like refugee camps outside of some of the major cities, and that was just another tiny thing that went a whole long way to like expanding the world. But you know, that's not necessary. That's not going to make or break your playthrough. That's just a tiny visual thing you don't need. The more I talk about it, the more I realize that probably should have been one of the mods I cut. But that's the thing. Mods can help you tailor the experience to yourself, but you have to be prepared to deal with complication. Now, I know for me that there was a reason I was playing this on Xbox rather than PC, which is without a doubt the best way to play Skyrim with mods, and that is the fact that pretty much any mod that's on Xbox is going to be on, well, not PlayStation, but it's going to be on other consoles, and it's more readily available. Like, I'm not a PC gamer. I use the money I would spend on buying a really nice PC on getting running water to my house so I can take a shower. But like, you know, in Xbox, it's cheap, it's how I choose to play, it's comfortable, and there's mods available on it. So that's going to be the most accessible for most people, I think. Not everyone can spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a PC. But if you do have a PC, you have access to so many more mods that are so much better. And so I would say, like, really look into those, see if you find one you like. And assuming your computer is powerful enough, you can probably run a lot of those mods with not as many problems as I had. So yeah, that is where I'm going to leave things. Can Skyrim Civil War be made better through the use of mods? Yes, but you have to be prepared to deal with the hardships that mods bring to the table. There you go, MK. I hope you're happy with that conclusion. But before I go, I just want to say well, this isn't normally what I do on the channel anyways. This is at the request of a friend, and I don't think I'll be doing another video quite like this again, but there might be some more scripted ones. I have one coming out hopefully soon about which US president is the most cracked at Fortnite. Subscribe, check it out. Yeah, I normally do Let's Plays and stuff on this channel, and today I actually put a poll up on my community tab where you, the viewers, can vote on what game you want me to play through next. I think there's like 4 options, including Far Cry Blood Dragon, the original Metal Gear, The Force Unleashed, and I can't remember if I put Devil May Cry or if I put Indiana Jones on there. But yeah, so you know, if you're interested in checking out the rest of the channel, then there should be some videos. Hopefully I'll put them on screen right here. Maybe I'm gesturing to them. I have no idea. I haven't edited this yet. But yeah, check those out, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.